Have you ever felt older than the number on your birthday cake? Not because someone told you that you were old, and not because of a serious illness, but because your body feels heavier, your energy feels lower, and even small tasks seem to require more effort than they used to. Many people over 70 quietly feel this way. They may not say it out loud, but inside they wonder, why do I feel older than I actually am? The answer is often not just age, it is habit. Small daily habits repeated over time shape how old we feel. One of the most powerful habits that makes seniors feel older is moving less and sitting more. After retirement, it feels natural to rest. You worked for decades, you earned the right to slow down. But slowing down and stopping are not the same thing. When movement decreases too much, muscles weaken, joints stiffen, and balance becomes less stable. Standing up from a chair begins to require effort. Walking longer distances feels intimidating. The body starts to feel unreliable, and when the body feels unreliable, confidence drops. That drop in confidence is often what makes someone feel old. The solution is not intense exercise, it is gentle, consistent movement. A daily walk, light stretching, standing up more often. Small movements remind the body that it is still needed, and when the body feels needed, it responds with strength. Another habit that quietly accelerates the feeling of aging is stopping mental growth. The moment someone says, "I'm too old to learn that," a door closes inside. The brain needs stimulation just as much as the muscles do. When you stop challenging your mind, it becomes less flexible. Learning does not mean going back to school. It can be as simple as trying a new recipe, reading about a new topic, learning how to use one new feature on your phone, or even exploring a hobby you never had time for before. When you learn something new, you send a message to yourself that life is still expanding. Growth creates vitality, and vitality makes you feel younger. The words you use about yourself also matter more than you think. Many seniors say, "Well, I'm old now," in a joking way, but repeated often enough, that phrase becomes identity. Age is a number. Feeling old is a mindset. When you constantly label yourself as old, you begin to behave in ways that match that label. You may avoid activities you are still capable of doing. You may hesitate before trying something new. You may lower your expectations unnecessarily. Changing the language you use about yourself can subtly shift how you experience each day. Instead of saying, "I'm too old," you might say, "I'll do it in my own way." That small change keeps dignity and confidence intact. Social withdrawal is another habit that makes seniors feel older than they are. It often begins slowly. You feel tired one evening and decline an invitation. You tell yourself you will go next time. Over time, the invitations become fewer. The phone rings less. The circle grows smaller. Human beings are built for connection. Without conversation, laughter, shared experiences, and even small disagreements, emotional energy decreases. Loneliness is not always dramatic. Sometimes it is simply the absence of regular interaction, and that absence creates heaviness. Staying connected does not require large gatherings. A weekly call, a short visit, a walk with a neighbor, or even simply regular participation in a community group can make a significant difference. Connection keeps the spirit active. Comparing yourself constantly to your younger self is another exhausting habit. You remember how strong you were, how fast you moved, how much you could accomplish in a day. But constant comparison creates disappointment. Of course, the body changes. That is natural. What has not changed is your worth, your wisdom, and your capacity for meaning. Instead of comparing yourself to who you were at 40, compare yourself to who you were last year. Notice improvements no matter how small. Acceptance of natural change brings peace, and peace lightens the feeling of age. Diet also plays a larger role than many realize. Eating the same way you did at 40 may not serve you at 70.
The body processes food differently. Heavy late-night meals, excessive sugar, and dehydration can quietly reduce energy levels. When energy drops, everything feels harder. Adjusting eating habits does not require extreme diets. It simply means paying attention to portion sizes, hydration, protein intake, and balanced meals. When the body receives proper fuel, it responds with improved clarity and stamina. Feeling physically better often translates into feeling younger. Living without daily purpose can also make someone feel prematurely old. For decades, your days were structured by work, family, and responsibilities. After retirement, that structure disappears. At first, the freedom feels pleasant, but over time, too much unstructured time can lead to emptiness. Purpose does not need to be grand or dramatic. It can be tending a garden, volunteering someone younger, learning a craft, or simply setting a small goal each morning. Purpose gives direction to energy. Without direction, energy fades. With direction, even small tasks feel meaningful. Holding on to regret is another habit that adds invisible weight. As people age, memories become vivid. You may replay decisions and wish you had acted differently. While reflection is healthy, dwelling on regret drains emotional strength. You cannot rewrite the past, but you can choose how to interpret it. Every decision, even mistakes, contributed to who you are today. Forgiving yourself releases mental tension. When regret loosens its grip, your shoulders feel lighter, and so does your heart. Refusing help out of pride is another common habit among seniors. Many grew up believing independence meant doing everything alone. But aging brings changes that sometimes require support. Carrying heavy groceries, managing complex paperwork, or handling technical tasks can become unnecessarily stressful. Accepting help does not reduce independence. It preserves energy for things that truly matter. Wisdom includes knowing when to conserve strength. Focusing constantly on illness and limitations can also accelerate the feeling of aging. Medical appointments, lab results, and health discussions are part of life, but when they dominate attention, they shape perception. Instead of concentrating only on what is wrong, notice what still works. You can still think, still feel, still connect, still make choices. Gratitude for functioning abilities strengthens resilience. Resilience reduces the emotional weight of aging. Fear of change is another habit that subtly increases the feeling of age. The world evolves quickly. Technology changes. Social norms shift. It's easy to feel left behind. But staying curious instead of resistant helps maintain engagement. Even small efforts to adapt prevent the feeling of being disconnected from modern life. Adaptation builds confidence, and confidence reduces the sense of being old. Neglecting sleep patterns can also contribute. Irregular sleep, excessive daytime napping, or lack of routine can disrupt energy cycles. Establishing consistent sleep habits supports mental clarity and mood stability. When the mind feels clear, age feels less overwhelming. Another overlooked habit is avoiding small risks, not reckless risks, but manageable challenges. Trying a new route on a walk, initiating a conversation, attempting a creative project. These small risks stimulate growth. Avoiding all risk narrows life. Narrowed life feels smaller, and smaller life feels older. Emotional isolation, even within family, can deepen the feeling of age. Sometimes seniors stay quiet about their needs to avoid being a burden. Suppressing emotions leads to internal pressure. Sharing feelings honestly strengthens relationships and relieves mental strain. Ultimately, feeling older than your age is rarely about the number itself. It's about patterns of behavior and thought. Small daily habits accumulate. The good news is that habits can change. You don't need dramatic transformation. You need gentle consistency. Move a little more. Learn something small. Stay socially connected. Speak kindly to yourself. Accept help when needed. Release regret. focus on strengths. Aging is natural, but feeling prematurely old is not inevitable. Your birth year is fixed, but your daily habits are flexible. You may not control the passage of time, but you can influence how time feels. If you recognize yourself in some of these habits, that recognition is not a sign of failure. It's awareness. Awareness opens the door to choice, and choice gives power. Growing older does not have to mean growing smaller. With thoughtful habits, you can continue expanding mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. If this message speaks to you, take one small action today, just one, because sometimes the difference between feeling old and feeling alive is only a small daily habit.